What is influence? Zig Ziglar once said that you can get anything that you want if you help enough people to get what they want. I believe that influence is about unlocking the potential in others. And at its core, it's believing that what you have is of high value, whether it's your ideas, your service, your worth, or your beliefs. And when you impart that to another person, you know that it is going to bring them good and not harm. Influence is about two things. Number one is the inner game, being able to master your own state. And number two, the outer game, understanding human behavior. The Latin word for influence is influere, which means to flow. Flow is a state of being highly focused, calm, and in the moment, being present. I had guerrilla training in influence. I was one of 7 kids in a large Irish Italian family. So if you wanted to get the last chocolate biscuit, it was like a game of Survivor. There were alliances, negotiations, there were even betrayals. At 3 years old, I was following my nana around. She was an Avon lady, so I went with her to sell lipstick to all the ladies in the area. I became obsessed with neuroscience and human behavior at 12 years old, and this was my desire to understand people, which turned into a 30-year career in corporate life and entrepreneurship. Let me share with you the FIDE influence framework. F is for focus, I is identity, D is drivers, and E is execution. Number 1 is focus. Imagine you're driving a car. The first thing you're going to think about is where you're going. What's your goal? And if you were to take a passenger with you, the person that you are influencing, you want to know what their goal is as well. Next is being aware of your state and your energy. Your energy is what you're modeling to people every day. Here's 3 ways to get more focus and more attention. In a distracted world, one of the best things that you can do is to slow down your words, put on the brake a little. Number 2 is to recognize what's your energy like? What is your physiology telling the person in front of you? What state are you in? Take notice of your state right now. How does your body feel right in this moment? Just take a deep breath in right now. Hold and then big breath out. Continue to do some deep breathing and you'll notice that your whole energy becomes more calm. Doesn't that feel good? Now notice your feet on the ground. That helps to ground you. And when you're paying attention, you want to take notice of the state of the person in front of you. We move in and out of these 3 states. The first is survival state, where all we want to do is feel safe. The second is transition state, where we have some uncertainty and confusion. So certainty is important. Often we'll get certainty by getting more information. And the third state is your higher state, your core self. This is where you're operating from purpose, from a place of calm, from flow. Next is identity. You've got to own it. What kind of influencer do you want to be? Because you get to choose. Being an influencer isn't necessarily being the loudest person in the room. Mother Teresa influenced by living out her values. Martin Luther King influenced by painting a brighter future. Ben Francis, the CEO of Gymshark, which is a billion-dollar company, influenced by sharing his mistakes and taking people on the journey. Professor Tony Simons from Cornell University coined the phrase behavioral integrity, and it is the perceived alignment between a leader's words and their deeds. And research proved that this behavioral integrity lifted profits, increased employee engagement, and increased customer satisfaction. What do you believe in and what do you value? If you believe that what you have to offer is of great value to the person that you're influencing and that it will cause them no harm, you won't hesitate to influence them. What values matter to the person sitting in front of you? Maybe it's freedom, maybe it's growth, maybe it's security. And then ask them, what does that look like for you? Then you start to identify really what drives them. So remember, you're driving the car. What is your true north? What do you believe that you want to impart to others? Because belief is caught, not taught. D is for drivers. You're looking under the hood of the car. What motivates someone to take action? One driver is recognition, the desire to be seen, the desire to express yourself. Somebody who is driven by recognition may say, I've been doing this for a long time. Connectedness. Someone who's driven by connectedness and belonging will be talking about the team, about the we, not about the I. Someone who is driven by autonomy or control is going to want more information, more facts, more how, so that they can be in control of their decision. Mastery is really important. If you have a team member or a client who is avoiding taking action, it may be because the skill challenge gap is too large for them. And so it's blocking their flow. So, what you want to do is break it down into some small steps so that they have a little win and get the confidence to take the bigger action. Variety is important to people who like to explore all the options. So they might want to get a lot of information before they make a buying decision. Significance is all about the why. Why are you doing what you're doing? They're motivated by meaning and purpose. Execution is putting it all together. Remember focus. What's your goal? What's your passenger's goal? Checking the mirror. How's your state? How's your energy right now? How is your energy right now? Identity. You've got to own it. You get to choose what kind of influencer you want to be. Remember the human motivators, the drivers listening for what is driving somebody to make a decision. I had the opportunity to study with Stephen Kotler and his team at the Flow Collective. Stephen Kotler wrote a book called Stealing Fire, where he studied Navy SEALs, how they operated on an individual level and how they worked together in what they call group flow. He studied how they could read each other's states and identify each other's intentions. I want you to look around the room right now. You are in a room full of diverse experts, leaders. Imagine what would happen if everyone in this room helped everyone else get what they want. You would get what you want. I developed a methodology, NRI, Neuro Resonance Intelligence System, which converges emotional intelligence, neuroscience, neurobiology, and spiritual intelligence because I could see leaders were out of alignment with who they truly are. If you'd like to connect with me, I have a QR code. If you'd like to do a private mini assessment on your own motivational drivers, belief is caught, not taught, and the inner game is the main game.